Right. Well, hi everybody and welcome to DigHill80. Today we're going to give a live stream tour of our excavation site. We're going to do this tour especially for Ian McCullum of Forgotten Weapons, because Ian and his YouTube channel were a huge support during our KickStarter campaign, and thanks to his call out we managed to reach our goal. So first of all, I want to thank Ian again for helping us, and well, here we are. So Ian, to start, I'm going to show you the importance of this site, the strategic importance. So I'm in the middle of our site now, and I'm watching towards Ypres. I don't know if it's visible on the live stream now, but in the distance, behind the forest, you can see the spires of Ypres. So for the Germans, this location was very important because they had a very strategic overview of the battlefield and the front lines that were behind this forest and behind that forest there as well. So there was about 180-degree view of the battlefield. And in November 14, Germans arrived in this area and they fought the French in the village of Wijtschate, which is behind me. So there you can see the church. And after a few days, French were driven off the ridge, and the Germans installed themselves on this location. And before the war, we had a windmill here, and the location of the windmill is down there in this big hole down here. So we already removed the base, but this is where the windmill was situated. And then on the left of it, over there, that's the remains that are the remains of the steam mill. So if there was no wind, this inside this building was a steam engine that could power up the windmill so that they could continue the grinding. And then down in the back, behind the big spoil heap, we had the miller's house and a few storage barns and storage cellars. So when the Germans got here, after 3 weeks of fighting, the lines were stabilized, and the Germans started to develop their site and to start to construct a whole defensive system around the village, but also inside this our excavation area over here. So I'll try to guide you around with what is left, because we're at the ending of our excavation, but there's still some stuff to show you. So in 1914, on this location there was an artificial lake, and the Germans dug in around it. And about just in front of this green excavator, there was a 1914 trench running around this pond, and then continuing in that way where you can see my colleagues. We found several German soldiers in here, together with their equipment, also equipment that was left behind. It was very interesting for us to see how they dug in and what they used and what they left behind during those chaotic days in November 1914. After that, when the French were driven out, the Germans started to, or they gave up that 1914 trench, and they built themselves a bigger fighting trench all around this site. So parallel to the fences, all the way down to the corner of our site down there, and then parallel to the other fences down there, there was a big fighting trench. Parts of it are still remaining, and I'll try to show you some of it. So here we go. This is what remains of that fighting trench. So you can see the darker gray lines are the trenches, and I'm walking in them right now. So you have a first traverse down here, going around into this fire bay, which is very narrow. The second traverse. Here is another but smaller fire bay, and as you can see, some of the duckboarding remaining underneath the plastic. I hope it's visible down here. Right now, and the trench continues all the way down there. You can see another big traverse down here. There you go. And on this corner, in 1917, German forces added a new trench which went that direction. You can see the connection down here. And that trench went diagonal, crossing our field all the way down to there. This trench was facing that direction, and that's the direction of the attack of June 1917, with all the mines exploding during the Messines attack. But our side didn't see much of a battle during those days because it was so well defended that they had to make an flanking movement. So there was not much fighting here. But after that, British forces turned this trench around into that direction. And in April 1918, with the German Spring Offensive, there was a lot of fighting around this part of the town, and British forces had many casualties. They had to withdraw very quickly, and they left behind a massive amount of stuff. So this entire trench, the British additional trench from 1918, was filled with personal equipment. We found many toothbrushes, water bottles, Mills bombs, all that kind of stuff, all showing how these soldiers had to withdraw very quickly. And then here, okay, so I'll show you now down in the back in the corner where the Germans, or how the Germans used the original cellars and the buildings as a part of their stronghold and their fortifications. So we have a very good example of how the cellars of a building were used and implemented into the trench structure and the trench system of this German stronghold. I'm walking up there right now. So this complex is the storage barn, and we found 3 cellars in here, and one of the cellars, the one in front of me, was used as a bunker. So you can see the original wall on the left here. Down in the back you see the original wall as well. And you have some original wall here in this corner, and in the middle of that they installed a bunker built with those typical German concrete blocks. The entrance was down here, so there you go. I'll try to get it. Here you go. So you still see the hinges of the door, the small entrance. As you can also see that this wall is still a bit tilted because it was hit by an explosive. When you enter, you have the first room here, and then the second door leading into the big chamber. Well, it's not really big, but it's the main chamber. As you can see, that wall was also hit and is a bit coming inwards. And then down here on the other side of the wall, you have a second cellar, which is the biggest cellar, but this one they didn't reinforce. So I'm going out again. In this corner there was a connection with the fighting trench. So that fighting trench that I just walked through, these are filled on my left and passes these buildings, and there was a connection between this bunker and the trench somewhere down here. You can see that the wall is broken down on this side, and the bricks at the bottom here are a bit worn down because of all the passing of the soldiers. Right, I'm trying to get out here. Down at the back there, we had the miller's house, but it's no longer anything of it is left. But what we do see is you can see that the wall is broken down here, and that is because of the fact that there's a tunnel, a British tunnel, entering this building and going down. So we went as deep as possible here. You can see the broken wall, first step of the tunnel, second going deeper, and then going underneath me. But unfortunately the tunnel collapsed, so we cannot enter it, and also we're very close to this building, so we cannot risk it to go any closer. Right, you can see some of the original pavement connecting this site with the center of the town. And I'm going to pause the location of the mill, and I'm going back to the containers because we put some weapons out, some of the finds that we have found here that I wanted to show you as well. Passing here, you can see that this is the location of the second dugout. So you can see the stairs leading down into this tunnel. The tunnel completely collapsed, and this is the location of the windmill. This is where the tunnel stops, and here we had a big massive hole filled with concrete and pieces and remains of fortifications. So most likely whatever was underground was blown up, no longer here to be investigated by us. Right, I'm gonna go back to our headquarters where Nathan exposed a few artifacts that I wanted to show you. Okay. So as I explained before, we had 3 fighting nations on our site, and we found weapons from those 3 nations. So the first one is a French Lebel rifle, as you can see here. You can see the chamber, and there's still a bullet inside. I don't know if it's possible to show it on the video. And we also found this nice Rosalie, the French bayonet that fitted on this Lebel rifle. Then the second one is a German Mauser, together with some Mauser rounds. You can see here, and this typical German early war bayonet going together with it. And then third is a typical British rifle, the SMLE, the short magazine, the Enfield, together with a less typical bayonet with a hooked cullion. That was not so common, but it was used during the First World War, and we found at least this example, but I think several more on our site. Going well with these ammo rounds, .303 on the loading strips. And then yesterday we found this exquisite and well preserved piece. It's a Webley and Scott flare gun. It's a MK Model 3 Star from 1917. We found it in that 1918 British trench, and it's in a very good condition, so except for the handle, everything's still there, and we'll be able to clean it up very nicely. So unfortunately all our other finds are already gone, safely returned to our depot, so we're not able to show it anymore, but it was okay. Well, I want to thank you again. Thank you, Ian McCollum from Forgotten Weapons, for your great support during our Kickstarter campaign. Thanks to you and all your followers and your viewers, we were able to excavate this fantastic site. And well, thank you very much, and thank you all for watching, and hopefully till another time.